Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, it being the 23rd of March, Saturday, yes, we are live. It's, for me, especially if you've watched the show the last nearly 16 years, for me to still be chasing steelhead this late into March is completely new. I by now would have been burning tray after tray after tray of herring. Successful or not, that's what I'd typically be doing. Now, the steelhead season, just because of the water conditions for me this year and not being willing to go out and just burning myself out too early, the water conditions have kind of kept me interested, right? And I've said that many times. Fish the conditions, not the calendar. And the conditions have been okay. Now, if you're talking about the coast or in the valley or even down south, especially down south, quite honestly, steelhead fishing's been holding up decent for it being the end of March, right? But it is absolutely winding down. This week, though, I started out on Monday, and very first fish that I hooked, first thing Monday morning, somehow, and again, if you've watched the show long, I've had a couple of issues with my right arm. And I'm fishing a spinning rod, left-hand retrieve, right? I've had some issues, but it's been okay the last year or two. Bobber goes down. I set the hook pretty hard. It wasn't that the bobber was too far out there, but yet still, you want to get the hook home. I popped something in my arm that literally shut it off. I ended up having to fight that fish, rolling the thing over and reeling backwards, going, ouch! Well, of course, ultimately, I lost that fish. I couldn't control it or do anything right. It's like my brain wouldn't work to do this, which I still can't do it even standing here. Pretty much ruined my day that day. I couldn't fish after that. Tried swapping the reel handle over on the reel. Couldn't make that happen, and it was really hurting me. So unfortunately, I left on Monday relatively quickly. Only stayed out there for a couple of hours. Rest of the week, I had to rest my arm, but I did get back out yesterday. Ended up going 2 for 3, but you're going to kind of see here with this first little video clip of a release that this, you're going too fast. We'll come back to it. That's the second fish there, but you'll get to see the actual video. But you can see there, that's a true dime, right? I mean, that is an absolutely as fresh as it gets winter steelhead. Just on a 20 millimeter bead, just like what I've been mostly fishing this year. Just a dime. I mean, right? I mean, there's certainly some of those fish around, and that quick little glimpse that you saw there with the first one, that was a very much off color, had not spawned yet, but that winter steelhead had actually been in the water for quite a while, at least been in the river for quite a while. You could see that he was a double striper, had yet to spawn. But the interesting part of that was just a quick release video with that particular fish. So that was just one cast in a particular spot. Went right back to the exact same spot. Water was probably about 2.5, 3 feet deep, depending on the angle you're looking at it, I guess. Made a second cast, and that's when I hooked his girlfriend, which was the chromer that you just saw. So first fish was this one here, and you can tell it was a bit off color, good release. And then immediately following that, went right back up, made one cast, and hooked his girlfriend. That's the time of year, right? These fish are starting to get to the point where, they're thinking, hey, it's time. And for the ladies that were actually on the river, there was a couple ladies that were out there fishing, and one of them took a photo for me. I really do appreciate that. That was very, very nice. But yeah, could very well be my last winter steelhead of the year. I hope it's not. But it could be. Depends on what happens with salmon fishing. But in the end, that's what you're going to see out there right now. You're going to have certainly some shots at fresh winter steelhead. You're going to have plenty of opportunities at some fish. I shouldn't say it that way. But there's going to be plenty of downriver steelhead. And there's been a rumor of some summers, which I really don't buy into. I call that just more somebody saying something for the sake of saying it. Anyway, this is John Gildo. He is an artist as well as a steelhead angler. I actually had a chance to meet him on Monday after I blew my arm up. I left immediately, actually, after meeting him. The funniest part of this story is if you're a bank angler like I am, and you have a guy in a drift boat slip in right underneath you at 20 yards, you're not happy. And in the end, you're like, dude, what the heck's going on? Guy comes walking up, and I'm not defensive. Maybe I was. I was like, dude, he comes up and goes, hey, I'm the guy that did that drawing for you. Here's a photo of it. I actually have this on my wall in my living room, dining room, right where we eat dinner every night. And you can see there, that's actually a pencil drawing. It's not a painting. I actually thought it was a painting. And I can tell you right now that when I have duck hunting friends that come over and take a look at this, we will literally stand there and just stare at it, because it's just that morning sunrise, pink sky in the morning kind of thing, and it's just cool. And John, I really do appreciate it. I never had a chance to meet him. He gave that to me many years ago. And there he is as well, having some success chasing steelhead this week as well. But huge shout out to him. Love the painting, or excuse me, the drawing, and just great artwork. We appreciate you taking the time. All right, fish counts. Real quickly, we'll go through these. Willamette, there's been a little bit of a bump. Not too great, but it's certainly a sign that there's fish are in the system, right? Working their way through. We'll get to a couple of reports before we wrap that up. Let's take a look at the Columbia. The Columbia at Bonneville, 19, same thing. It's just a trickle, all right? I looked at the 10-year average this morning, and the baseline, they're just stacked, so you really can't see anything there. So I can't really speak to that much, but there's certainly some fish that are moving around. Taking a look at river levels, though, this is where it can be a bit interesting, but things are potentially going to change. So Willamette right now, very, very stable, borderline, not borderline, very stable as far as level. Clarity, it's getting pretty darn clear. There is a forecast of the river making a bounce later on in the week. We'll see how that goes. But down in the 5s, 4s, actually, for the Clarity, it's clear, right? It's certainly clear. I mean, there's just no other way that you can say it, which is kind of nice for this time of year. Columbia, same thing. Not much of a bounce at all forecasted there, so that's not going to change anything. Great conditions overall. My home river, a lot of these smaller rivers were forecasted to have more of a bounce this week. It just didn't happen, but they're still very fishable and good levels to go after them. It doesn't matter if it's along the coast, central or south, or in the valley. These conditions are good. But again, you are now to the point to where are your odds better of getting a springer, or are they better of getting a steelhead? It's hard to say. It's all about what your motivation is. I'm pretty sure I've switched gears now to Chinook, but we'll kind of see how that goes. Prize pack! Don't forget to send Jason Hambley an email, and you'll have a chance to win that prize pack from Procure. It is all about salmon in that one, but we really need to know what this weather is going to do this upcoming week. Now, obviously, we want to have some rain. We want to get some snow in the mountains. We want to see the rivers get, at least for me, I like to see the rivers get a little bit off color, especially for springers. But Katie Suniga is here with us this morning. What do we got to look forward to?
I'd say a little of what you just described that you'd like to see. We have light chances for rain, showers through the week, and a little mountain snow. So we have just a bit, but nothing too crazy, nothing that's going to be a major soakers or that we're going to see temperatures just plummet. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect for the last week of March here in the Portland metro area and along the valleys and the coast. Showers just through here and there. You'll see you have some come through. This is tomorrow afternoon. Then there's a break. Then more come in on Monday. Then we have another break, and then more come in. Basically, we're sitting in this pattern where we're staying within the troughs area, not seeing too much. Maybe a bump on Wednesday. This is right around 12 a.m. That moves through rather quickly. We're back into this trough. The only indication that we have that things could change into a more warm pattern is by the time we get to the end of the month, we see this ridge right here. We'll have to keep track of that and see where it goes, whether it moves across or breaks down or increases. As far as rain totals, we're only looking at 3/10, a third of an inch for the next 3 days. So a little today, maybe a little drop on Sunday, and then a little more on Monday. Monday's one of our wetter days, but not until we get into the afternoon. And then our driest days will be Tuesday and Sunday. Yes, we talked about mountain snow. So as far as snow levels, we have small ups and downs, but nothing that really takes us out of that 4,500 foot range. So things stay pretty even with the snow levels, maybe 3 inches at government camp at 11 up at Timberline by the time this is all said and done.
Yeah, this time of year is a good thing, no doubt about it. By all means, welcome to spring in Oregon. At least there's some sun in the forecast. We've had many years where there would be no sun in the forecast for spring break.
And snowpack, I'll mention real quick. So Mount Hood's at 95, but everything else besides the top northeast corner, more than 100%.
That's great to hear. Katie, thank you very much as always. Have a great Saturday. All right, now before I wrap this up, I got to finish my report off. OC to the bottom of the channel, there's been fish caught this week, okay? Springers. Not been hot or on fire in any one of those locations. It's just been moments in time based on the tide. But they are distributed. So depending on the zones that you have your comfort with, you know, what your favorite spots are, certainly worth spending some time there. Play the tides, though, with the water levels the way that they are. Make sure you pay attention to those tide changes. It doesn't matter which ones they are. Overall, Columbia's on the reports on the Columbia has been very, very sporadic. But when we come back from this break, we're going to get a pretty solid report. We're going to check in with Bill Monroe Jr. from Bill Monroe Outdoors. He's actually on the water this morning with clients. We're going to have video and audio. Hopefully, when we come back from this break, don't miss it. You won't see this anywhere but here on KPDX.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.